Hi Scorpio, welcome to Yellow Cardinal Tarot. With me, my name is Carol, and this is going to be a general reading for mid-November 2024. And I want to say welcome to my new subscribers, and thank you again if you've been following my channel. It means a lot to me, and thanks for coming back. So if you're interested in a personal reading, I have a link in my description box and also in my comment section, and that'll bring you to my website where there's about 6 or 7 readings on offer that I can do for you. And I'd love to do a reading for you. So this is going to be a very intense end of November for us, because on November 15th there is going to be a full supermoon in Taurus. And full moons always bring in intense energy for us, and so it's a great time for completion and for closing up some cycles, bringing things to a close. So I thought I'd do a full moon reading for you. So we're going to start off with, let me see, I think we'll pick the Ehrenberg Tarot here. And then I'm going to clarify that with the Radiant Rider-Waite deck. And then I'll pull a Moonology Oracle card for you in the end. But I'm first going to start off with pulling a card that is going to tell us... No, I didn't drop one. That's going to tell us what you need to release, Scorpio, that is no longer serving you during this period right now. And full moons will do that. They'll ask us to release something that, you know, the energy of it will be pulling at us to release something. And so I'm going to ask for one card for that. First of all, let's start off with that. And that one wanted to come forward. So you have the Strength card in reverse. And then what I want to do is next I want to ask what secrets are your shadow over here revealing to me right now? Because the moon, full moon will also shine a light on what we have not known before. And so it'll reveal some secrets. And the moon card in the deck actually talks about those things that are hidden from us. And so that is why I'm going to go into your shadow, your unconscious, which is hidden from you. And we're going to see what is coming up for you to heal this near the end of November. And you're going to notice that these two are going to actually act as mirror. There's going to be a mirror effect here, in that this will be what's going on with you in your outer world, and then this will be your inner world. And a lot of times we need to heal this in order to be able to release this, or there's something to, you know, connected to it. So very interesting how the two will always mirror each other. And so we're going to be doing shadow work here. And if you're unfamiliar with that term shadow or shadow work, I've left a really good video in my description box that's taken from my other channel called Carol Cares. And the video is all about facing your own shadow. And it's called My Powerful 4-Step Guide to Shadow Work. And it's one that I put together. Shows you how I do my own shadow work. And I've been doing it intensively for the last 7.5 years with my own trauma coach. So I think you'll find that very useful if you're interested in that. So I'm going to ask for one card right now to show us what's coming up from your shadow. What secrets is your shadow revealing to you right now that want to be healed? What's in there? So one card for that. You have the 9 of Swords. And the 9, another 9 of Cups. The 9 of Swords and the 9 of Cups. At the top, the reason why this full moon will have this effect on us, where it's asking us to release something and heal something that's being shown to us, is because it wants to take us into a new direction. It's all about, you know, shedding the old, so that something new can come in for you. So we're going to ask for one card to see what direction does the universe want to take you during this period. All right, let's go. One card, please. the Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords. And I think one was flipped from before. All right. Now, finally, at the bottom, we're going to ask for some advice from the tarot and as to how you can begin to heal this. And remember, this is a process. This is a journey that we're on to heal this. And so it's not going to be something that's going to happen like that. But this is going to be something that's going to help you as to what you need to focus on. And then I will also share with you at the end some videos or maybe some writing prompts or whatever I think is needed for you. And I'll take that from my other channel and I'll link it at the end, and I'll also link your November 2024 reading. All right, so advice from the tarot, one card here. What advice do you have for Scorpio? The Five of Cups in reverse. Now let's take the radiant deck, and I have shuffled these before I came on. So can I have some couple clarifiers for the Strength card here that's in reverse? One more card. All right, you have the Ten of Cups in reverse, Seven of Wands in reverse, and the Knight of Cups. How about these two cards right here, the Nine of Swords and the Nine of Cups? One or two cards to clarify this. Okay, you got the Seven of Pentacles and the Judgment card. Seven of Swords. Whoa, okay. This one's landing like this. Okay, you have the Four of Swords, Knight of Pentacles, and the Eight of Swords in reverse. And finally, two cards for this Five of Cups in reverse. No, I don't want to do that. That's funny how that landed. Okay, we'll try that again. Two cards. I'm sure there was one that was coming out. And couple cards, please. One more would be great. Okay, King of Wands and the Five of Wands in reverse. And then I'll pull your card after. All right, so let's begin with what you're asked to release during this time that is no longer serving you. You have the Strength card in reverse. Interesting card. Strength card talks about... it talks about, and it's interesting in an upright position, it's you have that lion, the lion's head there, and so it's portrayed from this particular deck has taken one image sort of from the Rider-Waite deck and has blown it up, and so we have a picture on the Rider-Waite of that the woman that's opening up the lion's head, right? And to me it's like it's an opening of the Pandora's box. It's an opening of, you know, opening up our shadow, opening up our stuff, starting to delve into it, starting to look into it, and all the stuff that we've had from childhood, our baggage, if you want, our trauma, just kind of doing a deep dive into it. And yeah, so, and the Strength card comes around, it shows up, and it's been showing up a few times in my readings, and it's just like, it's a card that just says, you know, you have the strength. You have the strength to go inwards. And I know sometimes you're not feeling like you have the strength is what this card is, because it's in reverse. And so, yeah, this is all about the inward journey, and the strength to go inwards. And, you know, and sometimes we're just not willing to, because we're not willing to feel all these emotions. And this is the Ten of Cups in reverse. And this Ten of Cups in an upright position talks about that full range of emotion that all of us are meant to feel. And you know what people don't understand, I think, and realize about emotions are not supposed to get stuck in our body. So I've been on this healing journey, like I said, or did I say intensively, for 7.5 years. And I know when there's an emotion in me that it needs to be felt. And so I'll wake up in the morning, and I usually ground in the morning and maybe do a bit of journaling. And then if there's something that's stirring inside of me, I know there's an emotion coming up. And I know that in order to heal, I have to process it. I have to feel it, because emotions are meant to go in, and they're meant to come, and they're meant to flow out. We're not supposed to get stuck on our hopelessness, or stuck on our a fear in us, or stuck on anger. They're meant to be felt and then released. But there's a real resistance on your part to feeling your emotions, and feeling you don't have the strength to go inwards. And I can't tell you how many people will just crack open that Pandora's box just a little bit and close it right back up. And sometimes, I've been told earlier on in my journey was, if you can just turn the faucet on a little bit, and when it just seems like it's too much, close it back up again. And I've heard many people say that, where they've just tried to open up the wounds and shut it all back down again, because it was too painful. And so maybe that's where you are right now, where you're just kind of not, I've shut it down because you don't feel like you have the strength. And I can see why you don't have the strength, because you're feeling right now, this is in reverse, and you're feeling right now that you're just not supported, not being validated at all. You see, it's a very, very lonely journey, this healing journey, because oftentimes you'll go on this journey of healing, and there are people that will try to take you down and bring you back to where you were, and don't understand why you're going this way, and they won't support you, they don't validate you. Maybe you're surrounded by people around you that aren't supporting you and aren't validating you, because there really is you're not feeling like you're supported and surrounded by people that are validating you right now. And that makes a lot of sense, why you feel like you don't have the strength. And then the Knight of Cups is coming here, and there's a part of you, and this is what's pulling you. This is called the freedom fighter. This is the part of you that it's an adolescent part, and we all have it. It's that part that wants freedom, to be authentic, and they want to have authentic relationships here. They want to be able to carry their cup to people, and people to carry, the cup, offer a cup to you. And when I say authentic relationships, I mean, intimate, friends, colleagues, just, any intimate relationships with people. Authentic relationships, I should say. Authentic relationships. And that's where there's a part of you that's yearning for that. And so the universe really wants to bring a close, wants you to release this. Why are you closed off to feeling? Where is that? Why are you feeling this fear of going inwards? And so maybe it's some fear that you need to release. I haven't looked at your shadow yet, but I'll find out. There's something here that's preventing you from going inwards, and it's time now. The universe is saying it's time for you to go inwards, and we need to release this so that you can begin to experience authentic relationships, work and go towards that. And so what is it in your shadow that's that's right now coming up. There's secrets here. We don't know what's in our shadow. It's coming up for your healing, and it's going to have a huge impact on this whole thing that you're feeling here, you know, about being not feeling supported and not thinking you can do this, not feeling like you have the strength to go inwards to start to heal some of your stuff. And you start off in your shadow with two cards here, one that clarify the other. And the first one is this Nine of Swords. And this is coming from your shadow. So it's your childhood, it's your adolescence. And here you are very much, Nine of Swords speaks about someone that is very much, oftentimes it's someone that it looks like they're having sleep issues and they're being awoken at night by these swords, these heavy mental thoughts about themselves. And I can see here that when you were younger, you had a number of mental thoughts that came your way that people told you about yourself. And that's what our sword energy is. They're what people told us about ourselves, our mental thoughts, and we repeat those, right? We repeat them about ourselves over and over in our heads. And you can see here where this individual has actually, because you've been told so much about who you are that's not true. It's not your authentic self. You know, the sword is all about your authenticity and your true self. They began to live up in their head, and it looks it's very cloudy and dissociative, actually. And so I think as a young child, you were told things that were not true, and many hurtful things probably. And that brought on big emotions when you were a child. And when you are told things when you're younger that aren't true and cause us to have these big emotions, we cannot, as a child, feel these big emotions like grief or shame or fear. Or we're not allowed to. Well, we don't feel supported for sure, but we feel like we don't matter, and if we're told these things, and then we decide the Nine of Pentacles or the Knight of Cups will say, well, I'm going to shut that down. I'm going to shut it all down. The Knight of Cups talks about, I mean, you're one cup away from feeling that full range of emotion. Here's that full range of emotion right here. The Ten of Cups. Very interesting that you got the 9 sitting in your shadow. And so it's like you have totally shut down here. You don't feel like you have the strength because when you were younger, you couldn't do it. But the thing that you have to remember here is that you're an adult now. And I think you're in a flashback because when you were younger, you couldn't do it. You didn't have the support and you shut down. You dissociated and you went up in your head and you shut down all your emotions that you didn't go into your body. And here's the Seven of Pentacles here. And the Seven of Pentacles speaks about an individual that has committed, all their life holding these pentacles, and they look at it and they say, is this everything? Is this everything? And I think you thought that was everything. As a child, we didn't know. And as a child, you just kind of say, well, you give up. You just kind of give up, and is this it? Because you don't feel like you matter. And so you gave up. You gave up as a child. And yet, right at the end of your shadow is this Judgment card. It's a card that's a calling. These people are coming out of their coffins. It's often called an awakening card. It's like an awareness. It's like an awareness, a waking up. And so it's almost like a waking up to who we are. It's a calling. It's like you're being nudged. And I can't help but say, it's like, here's this freedom fighter right here that was what you're being asked to release. And this was like almost like this freedom fighter inside of you that was calling you back to your authenticity. And then you get this shadow card that's a judgment card that's calling you back to you, to wake up to who you really are. Because this individual that people painted you as when you were younger, this nine of swords, and people told you all this stuff right here, you know, and you put it all away. You put your feelings all away. All that pain that you were feeling when you were younger, it's not you. It's not you. And so it's hard to have the strength to go inwards because there's a huge fear here. Because when you were younger, you weren't allowed to show your emotions, right? They were all shut down. And now you're being asked to do it, but you don't think you have the strength. But you do. You're an adult. You can feel this painful shit that you couldn't feel when you were young. You were a child. You couldn't feel it. You can do it now. So what direction does the universe want to bring you in? Well, here's our Seven of Swords. And, you know, we talked about the Nine of Swords, those things that you were told when you were younger, that really did you in. All those belief systems that people told you. And here's the Seven of Swords. And Seven of Swords is called the Thief card. It's the card about this individual that's running away with these dangerous swords in their hand. It's like they've inherited these swords. Someone gave them to you. And so the Seven of Swords talks about, well, let's take a look at all of these swords that people told you about yourself, these belief systems, and we're going to take off the mask. We're going to peek around this mask and we're going to see who the real you is, because you've been carrying around this mask all your life and you've been putting it on because that's what people told you were. And the universe wants you to pull back your mask and take a peek. It's time to take a peek at who is that person out there. And that's why you're being pulled right here. That's why you're being told that you have the strength to do this. You have the strength to look at this stuff that people told you, these lies that you continue to believe about yourself when you were younger. And the universe wants to take you in a direction. Here's the Four of Swords again. This is the sword energy. And then you have the Eight of Swords right here. So it's all about this sword energy being up in your head and believing these things that people told you. This is about taking some time out. Taking time out for you. And I know there's a huge resistance, and maybe in your head you're going, how can I? And you can think of a million reasons why you can't put yourself first and take time out for you to heal. This is what this card is all about. Look at all these swords right here. This person's finally needs some rest. You need to take some time out for you. Here's another knight. Is it the knight of the same? It's the Knight of, you have the Knight of Cups here, and then you have the Knight of Pentacles here. So there's this part of you, another part, like we can have more than one freedom fighter. Well, this was actually, yeah, you can have more than one. And this one is the freedom of the pentacle. Here's the freedom to the pentacle is all about our health. So freedom to have good health, freedom to be in a job that we like, or even freedom to pick the job that we, would like to go towards, freedom to be grounded, freedom to go back in your body. And there's this part of you that's wanting you to get back in your body, because right now you're very much, like I said, very much up in your head. Sword energy is what keeps us up in our head. And in order to get it to our emotions, we have to ground into our body. We humans forget that we have this beautiful body. And that's where all our emotions are, all our memories, all our inner children. They all live in our body. We just have to go inwards, right? And that's where the universe wants to you to release that fear of going inwards. And I know right now, like, here's the Eight of Swords again. In an upright position, this card talks about this individual that feels absolutely trapped up in their head. They're blindfolded. They can't see, and they can walk away, but they don't even know that. And look at the water, the puddles of water. Every time there's water in a card, it talks about our emotions. And you're very much up in your head. You're stuck up in your head thinking, I can't get out of this. I can't get out of this. I'm trapped. But you can get out. And the universe wants to get you out of this. The solution is to get back into your body, to get out of your head and back. You got to feel. You got to take time out, and you got to feel these emotions. So what's the advice from the tarot here? Well, here's the Five of Cups. And you have 2 5s in here. And the Five of Cups in reverse. But in an upright position, the Five of Cups talks about these 3 cards, the 3 cups that are spilled, and focusing on them. I often will take this card. Well, this card to me means you're sitting in some hopelessness. You're sitting in some depression. When you feel stuck and you see no way out, I often will journal from that, and I'll give you some of these writing prompts, and you're going to see them up on my screen right now as I'm talking. And when I fall into my bouts of what I call futility, and that's the feeling of absolutely hopelessness, I will write from what's the point, why bother, nobody cares, everybody hates me, I don't matter. And that's the stuff that you're feeling. The only way, and I'm going to repeat this again, the only way that I can get out of my hopelessness that I've been taught by my own trauma therapist is to write my way out. And I'm going to tell you that when I'm in futility and I'm laying on that couch or in my bed and not wanting to get out, the last freaking thing I want to do is to get off my couch and write. But I've been on this journey long enough now to know that I got to write. I got to get off that damn couch and I got to write. And I take these prompts and that's when I start. And I keep writing and I repeat myself over and over and over again until this stuff starts clearing from my system. And we talked about at the beginning about you know, that 10 of Cups being in reverse, and you need to, emotions are meant to go in and meant to flow out. We're not supposed to get stuck on an emotion. And sometimes I wonder why I say things like that or why I say anything. And it's because this was coming up for sure. So I'm going to give you, I know what I'm going to give you already. I'm going to give you the prompts, first of all, on depression. I'm going to give you a playlist on journaling. And there's going to be a lot of videos in there about how to journal and how to journal from your depression. And the writing prompts I'll give you. And I would highly, highly suggest that you start to journal. You start to journal. You ground first and then you journal. I do have a video on grounding as well that you can go to my other channel, Carol Cares, and they'll teach you how to ground yourself. And then you journal from those yucky feelings of why bother? That's futility, that's hopelessness. And that's what this is, and it's in reverse right now. And so it really needs to be looked at. The advice from the tarot is, you know, this needs to be like it's the main focus here that I want you to look at. And then you have right behind it is your ego self. The knights in my deck, not the knights, the kings. Sorry, did I talk about the kings yet? No, and I didn't have a queen, so this is your first. Okay, yeah. So the king in my deck is our masculine side of us, and we all have a masculine side and a feminine side. Nothing to do with gender. The queens represent in my deck my feminine side, and this is your ego self, which is your masculine side, and that's the one that keeps you up in your head with these swords, all these things. It does not want you to go into your body. It's a petrified part. It is petrified of emotions. And in particular, this King of Wands right here, it's sitting here. This whole thing about taking your life in a new direction, doing what you want to do, putting yourself first. The creative wand is what I call it, or the wand, the purposeful wand I call it, and it's going to tell you that it's all bullshit. And it's going to tell you that I'm full of bullshit, that I'm, full of crap, and I don't know what I'm talking about either. That's what the ego self does to us, because it wants nothing to do with emotions. It does not want you to go into your body. It wants nothing to do with you grounding. And you have to be aware that that's going to come out, and you have to fight that. You really do. And then you get the Five of Wands at the end, and the Five of Wands in reverse too. And there's a resistance here too. Here's another, something else that you're needing to work on. That is part of your depression for sure. And you'll find that when you start to journal from this depression of this hopelessness of why bother, nothing's going to change. This emotion is sitting behind your depression. And this is the emotion of, I call this the battle of the ego, of comparing yourself, of judging yourself to other people, of feeling less than other people. And sometimes you can have this superior complex too, as you think you're better than other people, right? It's just like an inferiority complex. And this is the shame card. This brings up a lot of unworthiness and shame. That's what will come once you start to write from your depression and your hopelessness. And so you have some emotions here. Like there's not just, you'll find that when you do this work of this emotional work and journaling is that, one emotion doesn't live in a vacuum. It's not by itself. There's always other emotions that it's attached to. And here I'm seeing that it's hopelessness and shame sitting behind it. And that you're on your way here if you do some journaling. Like I said, and I'll leave the writing prompts for you. Let me leave you with one card, Scorpio. For you, an oracle card. I will take this good card. It's the full moon in Gemini. 72. It's called The Answers You Need Are Coming. Positive. This card is a reminder that it's important to speak your truth. But remember that your words have consequences and impact your listener. Right now, you need to guard against indiscretion. The answers you need may well come soon. The issue you're facing could well be one or a few conversations away from being resolved. If you're inquiring about a love situation, a little flirting may be called for. If you're in the middle of an argument, this card comes to you as a reminder of the old, very non-Gemini message. Least said, soonest mended. It's good to talk about, be careful you aren't causing yourself any, it's good to talk, but be careful you aren't causing yourself any issues with your words. Words have enormous power. As metaphysician Florence Scovel Shinn said, your word is your wand. You create magic in your own reality every time you express yourself. Wow. All right. Have compassion for yourself, Scorpio, for what you're working through. This journey is the most difficult journey of your life, but it's the most important one. So take care, and I'll talk to you in December. Bye.